On Saturday, Sweden and Germany deployed their fighter jets to intercept Russian aircraft, according to the German Air Force. In a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, the German Air Force reported that 2 Eurofighter jets had detected 2 Russian Su-30 fighter jets flying over international waters. They noted that while the Russian pilots were uncooperative, they did not display aggressive behavior. The post included what appeared to be an image of the 2 Russian jets, though it remains unclear whether they were armed. The incident took place over the Baltic Sea, which is nearly entirely surrounded by NATO member states, often referred to as NATO Lake, with the exception of the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad and the Gulf of Finland, which borders St. Petersburg to the east. In a tweet, the German Air Force stated, "Together with our NATO partner Sweden, 2 German Eurofighters were scrambled today for an Alpha Scramble mission. 2 Russian Su-30s were identified. The pilots of the Su behaved uncooperatively but not aggressively. #QRA. Together, we are strong." Russian military aircraft frequently transit between Kaliningrad and mainland Russia, often flying near the airspace of neighboring NATO countries, making interceptions by NATO fighter jets a common occurrence in the region. NATO has protocols in place to respond to suspicious aircraft detected within European airspace. When such aircraft are identified, fighter jets are launched as quick reaction alert interceptors to visually identify and, if necessary, escort the aircraft out of NATO airspace. Last month, Finland and Sweden, the newest NATO members, also intercepted 2 Russian aircraft over the Baltic Sea. NATO reported that the Su-30s did not file a flight plan and had no radio communication with air traffic control, allegedly violating international aviation regulations by failing to use transponder signals. According to NATO, the number of scrambles to intercept Russian aircraft approaching Allied airspace over the Baltic Sea increased by 20 to 25% in the first quarter of 2024, as reported by Reuters. Most recent intercepts have involved surveillance or transport aircraft rather than fighter jets. The reasons behind Russia's altered behavior remain unclear, but it coincides with the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, which has intensified recently. This week, Poland and other NATO nations enhanced air defense operations to bolster Polish airspace, which borders both Ukraine and Kaliningrad. Poland's air defense systems have been managing threats on 2 fronts since the escalation of the Ukraine invasion. In May, Polish defense officials considered the possibility of shooting down Russian missiles that were being fired into western Ukraine, which often encroaches on Polish airspace. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, NATO has increased its military presence along its eastern flank, deploying more fighter jets and establishing ground-based air defenses. Earlier this year, NATO conducted its largest exercise since the Cold War, involving around 90,000 troops. In the previous year, NATO reported that Allied fighter jets were deployed over 300 times to intercept Russian military aircraft, with the majority of incidents occurring over the Baltic Sea.